Well, hello everyone. Welcome to our work presentation today. We are Group 11, and today we will present our final report corporate finance. There are four members in our group, including Hồng Mai, Quỳnh Châu, which is me, Minh Thu, and Anh Thi. So this is our table of contents. Today we will introduce to you five stocks. Also the annual average returns of these stocks. Also the total risk, systematic risk, weights of X stock on group portfolio, and the references of our report. So I will begin with the introduction of Hòa Phát Group. So Hòa Phát Group or Hòa Phát Group GSC is one of the leading industrial production corporations in Vietnam. So Hòa Phát began as a construction equipment trade firm in 1992 and restructured in 2007, utilizing a group format. So the company officially launched shares on the Vietnam Stock Exchange on November in the same year with the stock code HPG. Hòa Phát is currently a multi-industry business group, mainly in the field of furniture, steel pipe, steel, refrigeration, real estate production, and agriculture. So the group has reached 44,000 billion by mid 2022. Here I have listed some of the most significant achievements of this group. This is the company's ownership structure. The major shareholders hold over 5%, which is 60.6% of the company. The other shareholders own 36.4%. The financial performance of the Hòa Phát Group over 3 years from 2018 to 2020 are shown in this graph. So that's all for my part. Next will be MB.
So thank you, Charles, for introducing me. So I will continue to talk about our second portfolio, which is MBB. The Military Commercial Joint Stock Band was established in 1994 with the objective of providing financial service to military enterprise. This business specialized in capital mobilization, credit givings, and other financial service. In addition, MBB had expanded financial product and service to fulfill the demands of a wide range of customers. Since 2001, MBB had been traded on the Ho Chi Minh City Stock Exchange. The Military Commercial Joint Stock Band have three core business lines: financial and insurance, credit intermediation, and related activity, depository credit intermediation. So other shareholders, they occupy an important position when holding 54.7%, while Vita Group and State Capital and Investment Corporation account for 14% and 9.3% respectively. So talking about the financial performance of MBB over 3 years from 2018 to 2020, of the total assets, liabilities, and equity were increased during those years, which shows that MBB had a stable finance plans. So I will talk about our next portfolio.
So hello, I'm Mai, and I will be the next person to give you information about the Vietcombank Company. And about the Vietcombank Company, the Vietcombank was established on the 1st April in 1963 with the predecessor as Bank for Foreign Trade of Vietnam, and it was the part of the State Bank of Vietnam too. And in 2008, it began operations as a joint stock commercial bank for foreign trade of Vietnam, and 1 year later, it successfully completed an IPO under the stock symbol VCB in Ho Chi Minh City Stock Exchange. And for the achievement of the company has more than 50 years of expansion and development, so making it the most powerful individual in the regional bank's business and financial sector. Vietcombank also be ranked on the top 30 strongest bank in Asia, according to Pacific in the Asia Banker rankings, and Vietcombank also be the only one bank in Vietnam ranked on the bank's of top 500 world's leading banks. And about the company ownership structures, the State Bank of Vietnam is the largest shareholder, which hold more than 70% of share of Vietcombank, and followed by Mizuho Banks Ltd and other shareholders, which hold 15% and 7.7% of share respectively. And the GIC Private Limited is the rest of the shareholder, which hold 2.55% of shares. And this table is the total asset and capital structure of Vietcombank. And you can see here the total asset of Vietcombank increased each year from 1 million billion to more than 1.3 million billion in 2020. And about the Nam Long Group. Nam Long Group is the next company I will introduce you. And Nam Long was established in the 1992, and on 2013, Nam Long Group officially listed on the Ho Chi Minh City Stock Exchange, with the trading code is NLG. And about the achievement of Nam Long. Nam Long has won many big and small achievements, and it is ranked on the top 500 fastest growing enterprises in Vietnam in 2018, and it's one of the Asia Real Estate Awards in 2017. And Nam Long also be the top 10 awards for investor in 2015. And about the company ownership structure, the foreign institution was the largest shareholder of Nam Long, which hold more than 45% of share, and followed by the domestic individual, which hold 46.9% of share, and domestic institution hold more than 50% of share, and followed by the foreign individual, which hold 0.61% of share of Nam Long. And the table below, the total asset and the capital structure of Nam Long from 2018 to 2020. And you can see the asset, the total asset of Nam Long increased each year from around more than 9 trillion from 2018 to more than 13.6 trillion in 2020. And the next company will be introduced by Pei.
Thanks, Matt, for introducing me, and I will continue by briefly discuss about Khang Dinh Group. So Khang Dinh House Trading and Investment JSC company, whose stock ticker is known as KDH, was established in 2001. So after 20 years of development, it has become a professional real estate developer with total assets of nearly 14 billion Vietnam dong. The company business line mainly focused on construction and real estate. Talking about Khang Dinh ownership structure, most shareholders hold less than 1% shares of the company at about 41%. Next, we can see that Khang Dinh total assets, liabilities, and equity are becoming higher over the years. So talking about the annual average return, the value of 5 stock falls between 25% and more than 45%, which is higher than the market stock at about 19%. The company with the highest AAR is Nam Long with more than 45%, nearly double VCB, and more than 2.5 times higher than VN index. So now we'll have a deeper investigation about each stock, beginning with Hoa Phat Group. So in general, Hoa Phat annual returns has changed significantly over the years, but still remains positive. In 2020, it's witnessed a remarkable growth with almost 92%, but in 2018 and 19, it decreased sharply to only under 2%. Next, we'll have two banking stock. In 2017, the company stock's price increased significantly by 73 by about 73% in annual return. However, in 2018, the market price of MB shares has fallen, making the AAR edge marked with almost -1%, but it began to recover in the next years. And about VCB, overall with an upward trend, VCB has had a positive annual return over the last 5 years. The stock also experienced an enormous growth at about 48% and 56% in 2017 and 19. Next is about Kangdin Group. In 2017, Kangdin earned 52% at about 52%, just behind 2020, with nearly 71% in annual return. So, however, in 2019, Kangdin's annual return hit the lowest at 10.74%. And about Namlom Group, the company stock has also recorded strong growth in recent years. In 2021, annual rate has touched to 132% at about 133%. Next, we have VN Index. The annual average return of VN Index in 2017 reached about 41%, which is considered the highest compared to the next 4 years. During 2017 and 2021, only in 2018, Vietnam Index annual return reached a negative value at about -7%. Lastly, our group portfolio. The portfolio fluctuate in tandem with the market, but it was significantly better than the market for the time period. Like in 2018, the portfolio annual return was 15% higher than that of the markets. And that's all for our group sharing about annual average return. Next, Joe will help us to continue the presentation.
Thank you, Thi. I'm Cho, and I'll continue with total risks while analyzing variance and standard deviations of these 5 corporations. Let's talk about Hoa Phat first. So Hoa Phat has a greater standard deviation and also variance than the VN Index, which is 3 times higher. Although the monthly profit tends to decrease and the chart goes up and down continuously, the average profit of Hoa Phat Group still remains at a fairly high level. Next, I will analyze MB Bank and Vietcombank. So both of the MB Bank and Vietcombank have the variance and standard deviation higher than the VN Index. For variance, they are about twofold that of the market rate. Despite the risks caused by the COVID-19, both banks were able to provide a positive average return, and their high standard deviations show this. Next, I will compare Khang Dien Group and Khang Dien House and Nam Long Group. Based on the given data, both variance and standard deviation of these 2 corporations are higher than the VN Index, and also about 2 times higher than the VN Index. Because the amount of cash that Khang Dien has prepared for the new cycle is quite abundant, the company's monthly return skyrocketed in October 2021 at 20.6%. While in the other hand, Nam Long Group suddenly developed strongly with 2 peaks in April and October at 37.14% and 38.26%. So as we can see here, the variance and standard deviations of all the corporations are higher than the market rate. So as a consequence, the rate of return of these corporations and also the overall risks is also at a high level. Next, I will analyze the market portfolio. So the VN index has a lot of volatile data over 5 periods. The stock market has dropped substantially as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, particularly in the years of 2020 and 2022. So the variance of the VN index accounts for 0.0042, which influences the market volatility and security. Furthermore, standard deviation contains 6.46%, which sheets data on the previous swings in the entire risk of that investment or stock. Lastly, I'll talk about our work's portfolio. So the portfolio's variance and standard deviation are slightly greater than that of the whole market and tends to be more positive. The portfolio peaked with 25.15% monthly return in early 2018 and bottom along with VN index at about 25.25 respectively. So that's the end of my part. Next will be my beta coefficient.
So hi, I'm Maya again, and I will talk about the beta coefficients of our group portfolio and a little bit about the theory. The beta coefficients is a method for calculating the volatility or systematic risk of an asset or a portfolio in relation to the overall market. So the market beta is only equal 1, and the beta of the portfolio can also be less or greater than 1. And our group portfolio beta coefficients, as you can see on the screen, after calculating our group, realize that Canadian and Namron group both have a lower number of beta coefficient than the market, which are at about 0.76 and 0.81 respectively. This number means that the security will move in the same direction of the VN index market, but it will be less volatile, and it can minimize the risk and also lowering the investor projected return on investment. And about the combined MB Bank and Halifax Group have the greater beta coefficients than the market at around 1.11, 1.24, and 1.26 respectively. And this number shows that the security goes on the same direction as the market, and but it is more volatile, and although it is riskier, it shows that investors may anticipate a higher estimated return in investment. And the last part will be introduced by Hương.
Thanks, Mai. So this is the last part of our presentation. I will show our final results on minimum variance by way of a stock on our root portfolio. The table here illustrates how to weigh up a stock chain when investors decide to minimize the risk threshold by applying the covariance matrix. The larger the standard deviations or the variance between the stock price and the mean, the wider its price range. And as a result, investors should pay closer attention to the equities. HBG and MBB, as shown in the optimal weights table, are the two companies in the portfolio graded risk category with standard deviation of 11.94% and 9.87% respectively, which is nearly 1.5 times higher than the Vietnam index. And as the optimal weight, HBG and MBB should be reduced to 0% so that can minimize the risk. The difference in standard deviation isn't already initial. It all depends on the type of investment and if the investor is willing to take the risk. And as a result, investors should concentrate their effort on companies such as VCB or KDH, which have an optimal weight of 42.86% and 39.1% respectively. So that is the end of our presentations, and this is our preference list. Thank you for listening.